Ready?
Ready.
Are you ready now? Okay. Madison, Victoria, here to talk to you about quality of life. Everyone has a certain quality of life, and everyone probably wants a higher quality of life, whatever that means to them, right? For some people, quality of life is having a big house and having lots of money. And for some people, it's having really good health and being able to do stuff. And for some people, it's probably a combination of a lot of things. The kind of job you have, the kind of relationships you have, the supports you have, the infrastructure, the city you live in, the fun things you do, the good health that you have or don't have. And all of those things affect your, what I would perceive as quality of life.
I think most importantly, especially in our community, is living as your authentic self.
Oh my God. And how did I forget that one? Madison, come on.
Come on, Victoria.
I forgot the most important one.
Get it
So
together.
being yourself, living as yourself in public, out in the world, or in whatever capacity you have and can do is really the most important thing in terms of quality of life. I literally am so embarrassed.
Okay.
Okay, so anyways, who you are and living as yourself and not living in a shadow or living in a shadow of yourself. Like, I don't know, when pre-transition, my quality of life in some ways was really good. I was married, I had kids, I had supportive family, I had supportive friends, I lived in a beautiful house, had a swimming pool, had a job that I didn't hate.
I guess it would appear really good.
Exactly. But was it? And so that comes down to this thing of, I remember pre-transition thinking to myself, I have all of these really good things. Like, if I look down the list of the things that I'm supposed to have in life, I've got all of them. But the one thing I don't have is me.
And you'll never be truly happy if you live that way.
And so
items don't do that.
And the reality it really comes down to that, because I remember feeling like everything I did was a task. I was living from job to job to job to job. Then I would go to sleep, and then I would wake up and start doing job. But not because those things were terrible, but because I wasn't myself doing those things. Right? So living as yourself and being, if that's your sexuality, your gender, or if that's you not being an accountant and you being a musician or whatever it is, right? You living your authentic self and existing in your body the way you want to exist and having a body that you feel proud of and all of that stuff increases your quality of life.
I think that that path of seeing your ultimate true self could look a little daunting because it could feel really far away for a lot of people. However, I think something that would be really good for people to feel like they can get one step closer is picture or even write down, what that version of you looks like your dream, your goal, whatever that is. And think about what habits that person has and what they do every day and what they've done to get there. And then you can literally break it down in the smallest little steps. And if you can just do one thing every day to move the needle even slightly forward, that will be a win. And you will be one step closer. Whether it's practicing your makeup. I know that's something that you mentioned that you did.
Yes.
Whether it is, getting a piece of wardrobe, whatever it looks like for you to get to that end goal of who that person is, whether it's a workout, you'll feel like you actually won the day.
Yeah. And so quality of life is also something that we all struggle to work on. Sometimes, you have a certain life that you kind of have created, and maybe you're not happy, but maybe you're happy-ish.
You're comfortable.
You're comfortable.
Ish.
Right? You're not actually happy and you're not actually comfortable, but it's also really hard work to change sometimes.
The fear of unknown.
Fear of the unknown. All of these things can affect your quality of life. Madison, just before we started recording, she said something really cool. She goes, the time passes anyways. You get to choose how you spend the time. In the end, 5 years from now, if you're in the exact same spot that you were 5 years ago, that sucks.
And if you don't start making changes or doing small things to move the needle forward, you will be in the exact same spot. And as hard as it might seem to become the person that you want to be and reach that goal, how hard will it be when you wake up 5 years from now and realize that you're in the same spot?
Yeah.
You know, everything is hard. You know, there's an example in people who are trying to get in really good shape. Getting in really good shape is hard, but so is being sick and unhealthy. At the end of the day, we have to choose our hard.
100%. I think back to life where I supposedly had everything, but because everything was the way it was, I felt so incredibly stuck in a way. I'm like, I'm giving up all of these amazing things. Why would I do that? That's crazy. Why am I going to give up all of this amazing life that I've created? And I was like, because if it's not as myself, what kind of quality of life is it, right? It isn't any quality of life in a lot of ways.
Imagine how that'll impact the people around you who care about you, who will support you, right? Like Victoria uses the example of her kids, how before you felt like you weren't fully present because you weren't your true self, but 100%. Now you can love them in a way different way.
100%. I can't even think about how my relationships have evolved and how the quality of my life and me as being as a person, I'm a higher quality person now because I am more present. I am a better person. I'm not to say that everyone has that experience per se, but for me, I remember feeling as I was happier with myself, it was much easier for me to be happier on the outside and on the inside at the same time. So my quality of life shifted so dramatically when I started walking towards myself. And of course, that was very daunting. I was 42. I was married. I had 17-inch arms. And I was the quintessential alpha guy, whatever that is, bullshit thing. And I had so many walls in front of me. And I just can't stress enough how quality of life for everyone is like that. And just before we finish up, I think to myself, maybe the number one thing is being authentic, but the number two thing, and the thing that I think everybody forgets until you don't have it, is your health. It doesn't matter how rich you are. If you're one day away from death,
can't buy it. Can't buy it back.
If you're dying tomorrow and you have $70 billion in the bank, you still die tomorrow, right? And your health is the thing that nobody thinks about when you've got it and all you can think about when you don't have it. And so health is an interesting thing because you have it until you don't have it, unless you're born with it, which is also a possibility. But most people, the majority of people are healthy and then they get unhealthy. It usually doesn't work the other way, although it can, but you start healthy, you end up unhealthy. And that's so sad because we let it happen most of the time.
Yeah.
And so taking yourself into control and knowing that is going to happen. Nobody thinks they're the ones who are
next on the chopping block.
Nobody thinks that. Nobody's like, oh, I'm perfect. And then all of a sudden, the shit hits the fan. But when the shit hits the fan, it's already over.
It's too late.
It's too late. You can't do it then. You can't go backwards in time. We can only go forwards in time. So it's one of those things that people forget about, but it's the most important preventative measure in maintaining your quality of life as you get older. It is the number one thing. As long as you're your authentic self, it's the thing that is going to be the difference maker.
And that's why we do what we do.
And that's why we do what we do. And that's why we focus on the queer community, because we're part of it, and we want to give back. And we want our community to be healthy and to have a quality of life that
they
deserve because they have done the work. And had the thought to make their health and their self a priority because they want to live a long life. They want to use that long life to give back to other people. You know, like the higher your quality of life, the more likely you're going to be doing really nice things for other people. If you feel great about yourself and your life, and it's so easy to give back. It's so hard to give back when you're the one who's suffering, right? And of course we do that as well, but how much easier it is to do it when it's the other way around.
Yeah. If you need help with your anything transition related, anything health, fitness, nutrition related, we're in your corner. You know, comment on this video. We're also going to post a link at the bottom. Just click it. You can sign up for a consultation call with us. And yeah, we'd love to be a part of your journey and help along the way.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.